The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Welcome to another edition of Table Topics. How did I do?
Okay. I don't know what happened there, but that's okay. That's Table Topic, and this happens on live TV anyway.
That's it.
But so that's another week. That's another week that we have the show. I know you have something that you want to bring it up on our show, and I have my issues. With situations in Fall River, so I do want to come local. But I think you have something that you want. Let's that's for not what it is.
Do you want to do that first, or you want to get into your Fall River issues?
No, let's do yours first, and then we come and we clean house.
This is a clip I had seen just recently, and I don't think you're going to see it on too many media networks, but it was just an interesting clip of how different things interact, and we think it's this way, but then you actually see how it happens. You know what I mean, in real life. So if Steve could play that clip real quick, that'd be great.
Yo venía con un grupo de personas y me dejaron botar y no sé dónde están.
¿Te dejaron solo botado? ¿No vienes con mami o con papi o con nadie?
¿Ah?
¿Ni con tu mamá o tu papá?
Nadie. Yo venía en un grupo que venía de entrega con usted y al final me dejaron botar y venía aquí a pedir a usted.
Not to get too far into the weeds on this, but we hear a lot of what's going on the border. I mean, I think this is a perfect case of how this is affecting folks from the different countries that are coming here. They're sending off their children with people, I guess, and they took off on the kid and left him there in the desert. If this Border Patrol agent hadn't picked him up, what was he, 10 years old? What would have happened to the kid? Anything. Somebody could have picked him up. Who knows? So it's just another thing that we see out there, and everything that happens in life and in the world has consequences. And unfortunately, this young man is one of the consequences of this, come now or don't come now kind of thing. And it's just sad all the way around. So, like I said, I don't think you're going to see that on like a regular mainstream media television station or local news station. But if you do look around, you get to see what is really going on right now in the world. So, so I figured I would share that, Carlos. I know we're having some technical difficulties today, so I know Carlos later is going to get into some of the issues, the local issues. But here we go. See, I lost you, but it's all right. I kept on gabbing along. What I just mentioned, Carlos, is that everything that happens has consequences. Everything that we do individually has consequences. Everything that the country does has consequences. And unfortunately, this young man, there are consequences for this whole situation at the border. If that Border Patrol agent hadn't found this little boy, what would have happened? Anything could have happened to him. He could have wound up with strangers that, could have abused him or God knows what. And these folks just abandoned the kid there. 10 years old, he looks like 9 years old, crying because he doesn't know where he is. So we got to get, no matter what side of the fence people fall, we got to get this under control. I don't care if it's going back to things that the last president put into place to kind of slow this coming in. We got to do something. And, what's going on right now over the last couple of months is not working. So with that, I can let you go. And actually, one other thing before I go to that. Right now, there is a website out there called the U.S. Debt Clock. We bring in approximately $3.4 trillion every year in taxes in the U.S. from the taxpayers of this country. We are right now at $28,143 billion. So really $28.1 trillion. We don't have any money for other things that are happening here. We have COVID still going on. We have, 10 or 15 million people behind on rents, mortgage payments, and God knows when the jobs will come back. We don't have the funding to just have people coming here. We just don't have the funding. We got to get our act together, and whatever has to be done, I hope that this current administration will do that. So with that, back to you, sir.
I believe that we have a problem with the border for many years. They try to fix one thing, the other thing it's broke. They try to fix this thing, the other thing is broke. But this is nothing. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. This is going on that border for many years. Was always thrown on the back seats. Next administration will handle. Next administration will handle. At this point, it's like it is what it is. Personally, I think that when we go and we talk about illegal immigration, I think we have a bigger issue with people coming legally and staying illegal that I actually have with people crossing the border. Because the person that crosses the border, they don't even have a bag with food on his hand. The people that come from the airport, they come in with money, with clothes, and a place already to stay. So wherever they're going to stay, they should be picked up and deported. That's what we're going to do. So if we cannot even go and pick up the people that overstay their visa when we know where they are, and they with brothers, sisters, fathers, brothers, cousins, you know what I'm saying? If we cannot even pick up those people that we know what they are, those are, they're all looking for better life, but I think the ones that come with a visa, they're in a better situation than the guys that jump the border.
Yeah, I
that's my thing.
Yeah, I saw an independent. It's on YouTube. This guy is he's called Indigo Traveler, and he goes all over the world. And he was just in Honduras, and he showed just the video of what's going on in the country. They have a lot of problems. They had 2 hurricanes back to back, but they had issues in the country. It used to be the murder capital of the world. So I understand there are severe issues there, but there's got to be a better way of helping folks. And, by giving, sometimes giving money to the governments doesn't help.
And let me remind you one more thing. The ones that really kill our people, we give them the permits to stay here. We give them the permits to be here. And they turn around and they kill our people.
Yeah.
This kid jumping the border, he's not coming in here with a plan to kill nobody. He comes with a plan, with a plan to survive.
Yeah. Well,
That's the problem I have.
yeah. Well, the young boy that is there, I have a problem that they just dropped this kid off there, 10 years old. That's just unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just bring little kids like that, traumatize
Mm-hmm.
them. So that's where I have the issue.
That's the job. Not that I agree with you, and that's a job not done
Yeah.
because he got paid to bring the kid over, not to have been the kid and half away.
Yeah. Well, but
That's the problem.
But this is the issue. We had 17,000 Mexican troops on the border. We had agreements with the countries Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador to keep the folks there and apply for things here. And when the current president came in, he signed all that away. So so what happens? You know what I mean? Unfortunate. But we'll see what happens. Like you said, it happens every year, but you don't want to see, if we're having issues in this country right now, we can't bring in 50 to 100,000 people every other month. That's bringing in a Fall River every other month. We don't have the resources for the people that are here now, you know? So anyway.
Well, I understand that, but another problem I have is now they have the number by the exact number. But 4 years ago we didn't have that exact number. 2 years ago we didn't have that exact number. Now we have an exact number. How many people are crossing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that we kind of knew before, Carlos. I think we knew, but I'm just going to kind of touch on. I listened to you yesterday at the city council meeting. Very good job, you know. But this is case in point right here. We have the cost of living in this country over the last probably 10 years has got crazy. In the last year, the cost of living has gone insane. So by bringing more people into the mix, is that going to help the people that are here right now? It's only going to hurt them more. And I think more than ever now, we have to look at that. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting to a point that and bringing back to Fall River is I'm getting upset. I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting it's different because I'm living a situation now that I came.
Modern technology again. So I guess we lost Carlos for a minute. He's trying to stream probably at his office, and
I don't know what's going on with the internet today, but I already moved outside to get a better reception, but it's still breaking. My internet's still breaking, but I'm getting upset because for 30 years I dedicate to this city, to the people that live in here. And now I'm watching by the day these people getting kicked out their own city. They've been kicked out by the government. They are setting up a stage that you cannot afford to live here, that you cannot afford your house, that you have to sell your house, that you have to get out of town. That's what I'm getting frustrated. And they setting up the stage so well that they confuse things and they put things on your eyes. Okay, when you say it's not the city council's fault because the houses it's worth it more. Well, the houses it's worth it more because the city are greedy for money and are rising the numbers. But guess what? You setting up in a way that a guy that works, the Fall River worker, works at Dunkin' Donuts and Domino's for $13.50 an hour. Okay, they make $18,000-$20,000 a year. You know who can afford? You think they can afford this $350,000 homes that are being built? No, they are greedy. So what they do is they want them. They screw Fall River people. We want the guys with the big money from Boston. But guess what? We got the train. So now we don't care. Guess what? 20 years ago, if you owned 2-3 acres, you were an investor. a very important investor for this city.
Mm.
Today, you want a way of economic development. We don't want you. We're going to raise the prices on those houses and those taxes in a way that you're going to have no choice. You're going to sell the house and get out of town. We don't want you here no more.
Yeah.
We want the investors that can turn a block into 50,000 people to live there. That's what we want now. And this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand. Okay, and everything it's being set up. This morning, I heard Ken Fiola on WSAR talking about those acres that's gonna be open for development. Well, guess what? He said it very very nicely. We are always open and welcoming for river developers, but if you don't have the capacity to invest $5 million, you're not going to touch anything on the waterfront.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
good.
And I'm in the situation now. My oldest daughter is going to graduate in 2 years from UMass Dartmouth. Okay, with the law enforcement degree that she's stuck. She refuses to buy in Fall River already. She refuses. She's going to buy around Fall River because when we're still alive, she wants to be close to us. But as soon as we are here, she's going to move as far as she can from Fall River. This hurts me that dedicate everything to this city to hurt my own daughter. Okay, wants to skip town, wants to get out of town. Then I have another one for the not fault of her, got kicked out of her house. Okay, pay $60 to a company, a real estate company, to see an apartment. Go see an apartment. It's 20 people there. What chance that she has to get that apartment? Apartments that have electric wires going through the underneath the sink, through the sink drains. Okay, so that's what's out there. And now, so what I do? I turned around. I said, okay, I will buy it. I see a house. I want to buy the house. They're asking 130. I give them 135. Guess what? I got a call. I'm sorry, because somebody from Boston offered 160. So how can we compete? How can we stay on our town? How? That's the part that I'm getting, frustrated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not only a Fall River thing. I mean, you got to figure a lot of retirees. I have a relative that moved out of state because they're retired. They couldn't afford to live here anymore because the price has gone up. I mean, this is happening everywhere in the country. You know what I mean? Unless you live out in the sticks somewhere, and even there, prices are going up. So, what goes up will come down, unfortunately. Did you ever think you'd see? I have a house a block from me, brand new house being built. $399,900 is what they're asking. $399,900, $400,000, almost $500,000, and you're in the city. It's not even like you're in the North End. You know what I mean? You're in the city. You got a 6,000 square foot lot. Not, you know what I mean? Your yard is a lot bigger than this. $399,000, and I'm sure it'll be sold in a matter of a week once they actually put it out there. So, like I said, what goes up?
John, you don't have to go too far. Go to South or North Carolina.
Yeah.
Go see the prices of the houses.
Yeah.
They double the size of the house in Fall River for half of the price that they are in Fall River.
Oh no, I know South Carolina, but
Carolina has. What did we have in here? But what did we have in here to have a house with that value? I mean, I understand if we like next to Walt Disney. If you live a block from Walt Disney, hey, you have the value. What value did we have in Fall River to have houses of $1 million, $500,000?
Yeah, it's supply and demand. There's not enough houses out there.
That's the part that I don't understand.
Well, because what's happened, Carlos, and we're going to see this.
It is enough houses. It is enough houses, John. It is enough houses if they want to keep our people here.
Yeah, if
For
you
our
look,
people,
go on.
it is enough house. But they don't want us. They want people from Boston.
No, it's supply and demand, Carlos. We have 88 houses for sale in Fall River right now. If you go on to realtor.com, 2 years ago we ran at 250 to 300. I follow that website all the time. So you have right now, the president put a moratorium, right? That if you're living in an apartment, they can't evict you out of the apartment due to COVID. So if you're living in an apartment, they can't evict you. You can stay there as long as you want. And a lot of these people are staying there and not paying rent. Same thing with mortgages. There's a lot of people behind on their mortgages, but there's a moratorium right now until June, the end of June. So what's happening is people aren't leaving their houses, you know what I mean, or apartments, because there's nothing out there. And if you can't afford to pay where you are, you're not going to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? So we're going to see, unfortunately, in this country, I think we're going to be in for a rude awakening, because we're going to see that if this is on the news, you just got to watch it. I think I read the other day, 9 million people are more than 2 or 3 months behind on their mortgage right now. That's not a lot of people yet, but it's going to be, you know? So this is all going to turn around. I've been through this before with housing markets. You know what I mean? Back in, we had one, and we had one back in 08. 08, it wasn't as bad as this one, but 08, houses around me were selling for 300,000. I thought it was insane back then. And then what did it do? It dropped down. We're just getting back to what we were in 08 now. We're actually over it. But look how long that took. It's going to run in cycles. What goes up is going to come down. And it's going to happen. Once it happens, people are going to be shocked, because it's going to happen like that, you know? So what I can tell you is hold tight. Hold tight, because it's going to change. You know, it's going to change. I'm telling you.
You know, I mean, they want money for this. They wanted. You heard the city council last night. They wanted money for this. They want money for that. They want money for this. So I was talking to a city council today. I said, well, why don't you take that money from the budget, money that they didn't use? You know, I mean, every department has a budget there to hire people for the past 5 years. They keep putting the money in there, but they never hire nobody. So if you didn't hire in 5 years, it's because you don't plan to hire people. Take that money away from the budget and put it somewhere else. Put it for what you need to spend. You know, I mean, that's the way it is. Programs. I give an example of CFC. Why you think CFC at the end of the year are knocking in doors to give them services? Because if the state gives them $1 billion and they only spend a half a million, next year they're only going to get $500,000. They're not going to get $1 billion, because that's what the state is going to tell them. If you just spend half, that means you just need half. You don't need $1 billion. You know, they need to do the same thing with the city. If the money is sitting in there for years, it's because you don't need it. Use it for something else.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something they could think about. I thought they had mentioned yesterday they really haven't hired anybody. And that doesn't mean that they don't need it, Carlos, because I'm going to give you an example. A street near me, brand new street, just put in about a year ago, all right? It took them 2 months to get in because they tore everything up, right? So what do you think happened yesterday? I'm home, going for a walk with my dog, and they're tearing that street up. That hasn't even been, it's 6 months since they put it in, tearing it up. Well, it was an emergency gas leak there.
Is that it?
So hear me out here, right? So it's an emergency gas leak. So they have to let the gas company come in. I found out that they didn't put new gas lines in there. It wasn't coordinated right. So any other time now, that road's going to be torn up because they didn't coordinate it. So, you know what I mean? And the people are not here that were responsible or whatever. But this is what I mean. You know, so if they had more people, you know what I mean? Somebody could have been calling. It's like any organization.
I understand that, but the money is there for them to hire people. If they don't hire people and they have those monies in there for 5 years going, every year the money goes back in there for them to have the money to hide. I'm not saying to take the money out if they're going to hide, but the problem is they're not putting nobody. They're not hiring nobody. They just have that money as a cushion there in case if we need it, it's there.
Yeah, yeah.
And should not be like that.
No, I hear
Because the other because it's money needed in somewhere else. Now they want to take they want to take the over the lights for the parks. They want to take the lights. That's one more cost for us.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? You just can put the lights on for 2 hours because we cannot afford to have 5 hours. The lights on for 5 hours. I mean, to me, it's been working fine. This groups have volunteers that maintain these parks. If they're going to charge them a fee, now we're going to have to maintain those parks. When they call us and they say that we need to fix the park, we're going to have to go and fix the park because they're paying the fees.
Yeah. Well, that whole meeting yesterday about the parks was just ridiculous. Saying that the city's not doing anything with the parks because they showed, and we all know that there has been a lot of advocacy for the parks, and the city kind of, went along with it and did invest money in it, whether it be through, community development funding, whether it be through the Community Preservation Act or city funds, they were doing that. So I just think that was a big waste of time that, they came out and said, we don't know what's going on with these city parks. Well, your councilors, get out there and look. And we have a council that was head of a neighborhood association that knew that. So I don't understand what that horse and pony show was about yesterday. It just looked.
I know. To show we spent $9 million in fixing parks. We spent nothing. A guy from Chicago paid to fix our park.
Yeah.
Because it was state money, was government money. Was federal money. You know what I'm saying? So we what? I want to know how much money the city put into those $9 million. The question is, how much was on the budget, on the city budget, that went into those parks, into those $9 million? Because they said that Father Travassos was $2.2 million. I have paperwork that shows it's more than that. They don't even know.
Well, that might have been a matching where the city paid that, but they did break it down. They did break it down as to, whether it was community preservation money, whether it was community development money, or the city. And I know a lot of these programs, the city has to do a match in order to get the rest of the funding. So I believe that might have been, that's where the situation was. But they did have a breakdown. They did have a breakdown of whether it was any of those funds. But I'm sure the city was not $9 million. Maybe it was $3 or $4 million they put into it. So
not even that.
Yeah,
not even that.
Probably
We're lucky if the city put $1 million. If the city put $1 million, I would be surprised.
Yeah. Well, I know I know a lot of grants, CPC, community preservation, and if they get rid of community preservation, that's going to knock a lot of money out of these programs.
But even if it was CDA, and CPC, whatever, that's not their money. Yeah. I want to see is from the budget. I want to see from the budget how much they put into the parks, not from CDA, not from CPA.
Yeah.
No, from the budget. That the mayor can say, I put $1 million on my budget that's going to the parks. That's what I want to see. Then you can go in front of the city councils and tell the city councils, we put this much money into the parks.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, we're getting word, Carlos, that we're getting to the end of the show here. So
yes, we were in and off.
Yeah,
so
I know, but we got to keep
anyway.
a minute.
So very good. John, again, thank you again. And I guess the word of the day is, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And this too will pass. Things will get better.
We will all end up on the same hall. Doesn't matter if you invest $1 million or if you invest $50 million. You're going to end up on a hole just like mine.
That's
Same
it.
size,
That's
same
it.
size, same color, same smell, same smell.
Yeah, you're right. With that happy note, good night.